In question number 6, the square root sign acts like a bracket. So for this question, we're going to have our 2 stay out front, and we're going to evaluate what we have inside the square root. We have a -5, take away -14. So take away negative makes positive. -5 plus 14 becomes, let me check that out, I think that's 9. Okay, and now we have the 2 and then the square root of 9. So again, the square root's like a bracket. Square root of 9 is really 3. So I'm going to replace that in brackets. So then we have 2 times 3, which is 6. So hopefully you got that one correct. Question number 7, we've got some order of operations happening here. We have our -5, take away, and then these are square brackets. So I'm going to work inside that square bracket first. And inside the square bracket, we have this curled bracket or curved bracket. So I'm going to do that first. 7 plus 2 is 9 minus 6 squared. Close the square bracket. That's going to equal, and again, I'm still working in those square brackets before I can do anything else. Now in the square bracket, I have, I've already done the bracket inside the bracket. Now I'm going to evaluate that exponent. And really I could do the 3 times 9 as well at the same time, but I'll do that on the next step. 3 times 9 should be 27, and then we have 27 take away 36, which is going to be -9. So we've got take away, and we could keep that as square bracket, or we could change it to a curved bracket. It's up to you. So we have -5 take away -9. Take away negative really makes that plus, and -5 add 9 is going to give us 4. Now this one gets really tricky. We've got a whole bunch of brackets. We've got the big square. So the exponent 2 is going to be the last thing we're going to do on that outside square brackets. The divide line here makes the numerator act like a single calculation that we have to evaluate, and then the denominator, the bottom, has to be calculated before we can actually do the divide on that question. So on the top, I see I have a -4 plus -5. That's going to become subtract. So -4 subtract 5 is -9. And then we have in that other set of brackets, -4 plus 9, which is a 5. And on the bottom, let's see what we can do down here. Now, Bedna says I have to do inside this bracket. I know that 1 to the exponent of 2 really is a 1, so I have my 6 squared to begin with, divide by, and then 5 take away 1 is going to be a 4, and then I have a -4, all in brackets to the exponent of 2. On the top, I have -9 times 5, which is -45. And on the bottom, I have a 6 squared, which is 36. Exponent before I do this dividing. And then after I do that, I'm going to subtract my 4. So -45 divided by, 36 divided by 4 is 9. And that's all still squared. And I'm running out of room. Let me go over here. -45 on the top still, and on the bottom, 9 take away 4 is a 5. And all of that is then squared. And when I put that together, -45 divided by 5 would be -9, which is going to be squared. So -9 times -9 will be positive. 9 times 9 is 81. So 81 should be your answer for that one. Now the next one, we have mixed fractions, which are being added and subtracted. The rule with fractions, I strongly recommend with the integer fractions, well, it shouldn't be called integers, but with positive or negative fractions, I would switch everything to their improper form first. So I've got 5 wholes and then 1/3 extra. So 5 wholes cut into 3 parts each would make 15, plus the extra 1/3 makes 16 thirds. So really the quick way is 3 times the 5 is 15, plus 1 more is 16. So that's going to equal 16 over 3. And then we're adding a negative, so I'm going to make that a subtract. And then ignore that negative. Just do your 4 times your 2 and get 8. And then 8 plus the 3 more, 9, 10, 11. That'll be 11 quarters. And then take away. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 1 more is 19 sixths. To be able to add and subtract fractions, I need a common denominator. And if I look at 3, 4, and 6, my common denominator is going to be a 12. 12 is the smallest number that all three numbers can go into. To make the 3 into a 12, I need to times it by 4. But if I times the bottom by 4, I need to times the top by 4. To make the 4 into a 12, I'd need to multiply by 3, times the top and bottom by 3. And then I would need to times 6 by 2, times top and bottom by 2. All right, so let's see what we get here. 4 groups of 16. 16 and 16 are 32. 32 and 32 are 64 twelfths. Minus 33 twelfths. Minus 19 and 19 would be 38 twelfths. All right, let's see what we get here out of this. So 64 take away 33. So denominator is still going to be a 12th. And we just subtract the numerators here. 64 take away 33 should be 31. Take away 38 twelfths. And then 31 take away 38. It's really going to be a negative 7 twelfths. I hope that helps. And I'm having trouble fitting in the 12ths on the bottom here. Let me try again. There we go.